Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic, and this is a Vanderpump Rules recap. That's right. We are giving you all the Vanderpump Rules news here in one place. I know you might be here for Bachelor Nation content. We'll have that too. We're double dipping, folks. Bachelor Nation, Vanderpump Rules, Love is Blind. We're all over the place. So do me a favor, follow me on Instagram at DNeals. If you're new to my channel, I take notes, read them back to you. No edits, no jump cuts, all on the fly, all filmed in one take. Gonna give you my fresh thought. And after last night's episode 10 of season 10, it's got a lot of people asking, did Scandoval just smack Raquel's booty? Did that happen? Yes, it may have. We'll get into this whole discussion. Let's start it right now. And if you guys don't know, I'm sort of new to covering Vanderpump Rules, so I so appreciate this chart by Sarah Gorman, which I think still needs to be updated, but it's pretty much the Spark Notes map of everything that's gone down. And if you don't even follow Vanderpump Rules and you're just a Bachelor Nation fan, let me just explain it like this. It's like if Bachelor in Paradise existed with every person you've ever dated and every person they've ever dated in one place. It's absolute chaos. Okay, so let's start this puppy off right now. Brock and Sheena's Mexico wedding is full of drama. Last episode ended with Raquel and Tom Schwartz schmoochin'. Everyone cheers them on. Whoopsie. Schwartz and Raquel remind me of a junior prom where you're just looking for a quiet place to smooch. They're like, where are the bleachers? We need to go into the bleachers here. Of course, they choose the worst spot. Not this photo, but the other photo. They were on the island around the pool, which is where everyone was having their cocktail party. Not only that, they had a light source, for filming because nothing's real, right? So, of course, that light source was there just for the filming of the reality show. Either way, still not a good look. Katie doesn't approve, but Raquel said her desire to make out with Schwartz is greater than her desire to be friends with Katie. And that's pretty much what's going to get her into the drama with Ariana as well. That's upcoming. Sheena calls Lala on speakerphone. If you're on a reality show, you have to use speakerphone nonstop. And says everyone is talking about Schwartz and Raquel schmoochin'. Katie overhears this. Katie says it feels like someone punched her in the gut and kicked her in the face. It does suck that everyone cheered them on. I think that's the worst part, is that everyone cheered them on. I think, but then again, you can leave a comment. Is it okay for your ex-husband to make out with someone else in your friend group? I think that's the question. And because, they are exes, right? It's not like they're together. Lala asks why people cheered, and Brock goes, people just want to see Schwartz happy, which is kind of the saddest part, that Schwartz is so down on his luck, right? That people are just like happy that he's happy. He's had a tough 6 months. And Katie says Tom owes Katie more. Lala tells Kennedy that her ex-fiance, Raquel, is a cheap, broke-down hoe. So it's like, tell us how you really feel, Lala. Cheap, broke-down hoe. Tom Sandoval tries to give Raquel Schwartz the room key in front of Ariana. This was early up in the season, early up in the episode. This is where it got kind of fascinating, right? Because now we're watching the show back, knowing what we know in real time, of course, which is that Tom Sandoval was hooking up with Ariana. That was the problem, is that he wasn't hooking up with Ariana. He was hooking up with Raquel while in a long-term relationship with Ariana. And of course, admitted that his relationship with Raquel, which lasted like 7 or 9 months or whatever, or is still going on, began before Sheena's wedding. So at this point, he's already cheated on his lover with Raquel, and we're starting to see those clues pop up. Tom Sandoval tries to give Raquel Schwartz's room key in front of Ariana. Sort of looks like Raquel swats away Tom's hand. There was kind of like a butt motion, and that's what we were talking about from this initial text message here from that scene, is that there was a little bit of like, she was like, no. And everyone's like, did he really just do that? Maybe he pinched her on the side. Who knows? Either way, pretty wild stuff happening in this friend group. Next day, Raquel asks Schwartz if he will walk down the aisle with her. Kennedy calls out Schwartz for making out with Raquel. Schwartz sips on his Pedialyte, because when you're in your 30s and you've had at least half a drink, you need a Pedialyte the next morning. You know what I mean? Schwartz says he's been a sad sack of a human being for 6 months. He thought kissing Raquel would snap him out of his funk. Kennedy is being snarky because Raquel was his ex-fiance. Allie is quietly sitting there like, I didn't sign up for this, right? So Kennedy's with his current girlfriend, Allie, who he moved on with weeks after breaking up with Raquel, but he's upset that Schwartz is talking about kissing Raquel because it was his ex-fiance, which I understand, but also when you're with your current girlfriend, you have to pretend like it didn't matter, you know what I mean? Oh boy. Alrighty then. But I also agree with Schwartz in that sometimes to snap out of a funk, you have this codependent bond, oxytocin, the commitment molecule. When you kiss somebody, hug somebody, breastfeed, whenever you have a close, intimate reaction with someone, your body releases oxytocin, the commitment molecule. It's literally a catalyst for bond that keeps us together. And maybe by trying to still be friends with Katie, maybe he wasn't breaking off that oxytocin bond, and maybe he needed a good old smooch with Raquel. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to go well for them afterwards, but maybe that's what the guy needed. Let me know what you guys think. I don't know. I'm just throwing this out there. I just started watching the show. Greg, the guy overseeing Tom and Tom's restaurant, tells Lisa Vanderpump that the guys aren't ready to open their restaurant on time. Then we have Schwartz confesses to Scandoval that he made out with Raquel by the pool. Now help me out. At this point, Scandoval has also made out with Raquel, but nobody knows that yet, except I think Schwartz knows that? Let me know. I don't know. The timeline's a little weak on my end. Meanwhile, Lala is triggered because she says Raquel is the type of girl that would hang with her ex, Randall. Now, I had to look into Lala's ex, Randall, and it turns out he's got some pretty wild allegations against him. So Lala's triggered by seeing anybody who looks like what? Is she, she's already called Raquel a hoe, a broke down hoe. So does her ex only hang out with broke down hoes? And if that's the case, what does that say about marrying the guy? Now, of course, what we know in hindsight is not what she would have known in the moment. Maybe she was blinded by his red flags because of his wealth. I don't know. That's what happens out there. She said he was a con man, so maybe he's two-faced and hey, it's Los Angeles. I wouldn't be surprised. All right. How do we even keep this recap going? There's just so much to talk about. Am I killing it or am I delusional? Am I bad? I don't know. I have no read on this show. I think that's what might make this interesting is I'm just a random guy that just started watching and everyone's like, you got to go back to season 1 and catch up. And it's like, listen, honey, I don't have the time, nor do I think my eyes, ears, or heart could take going back to season 1. So let's just try our best. I've read the Spark Notes. Sheena reveals that she's actually been married for a while, right? Already had a baby plus a green card. So it's actually her 1-year anniversary. So it turns out this wedding means nothing. Raquel no longer wants to walk down the aisle with Schwartz because he's a bad walker. And let me tell you something. If you want to watch a wedding that's not full of drama, that's actually just a good wedding. I actually got married. I don't know the dates of their wedding. I got married October 15th. We stayed at the Dreams Hotel, but the one in Tulum. So I actually was getting married at the same time they were, and I've got the full video up on my Patreon if you want to check that out, patreon.com/Dave Neal. I got to tell you, there's nothing too sexy about it other than we got that video, then reacting to our wedding video. So if you want to see what it looks like when your beautiful bride surprises you in a custom-made dress, you can go check that out. But that's neither here nor there. It's actually on patreon.com. Okay, /Dave Neal. Link in the comment section if you want to check that out. Okay, wedding day arrives. Summer Moon, Sheena's daughter, is the beautiful flower girl. Sheena's vows were like, whoever thought the guy who slid into my DMs 3 years ago would be here right now? It's like, okay. She's like, all right. And he's like, all right, for my vows, whoever thought the girl who gave me a hand job in the back of a nightclub would be here. It's like, okay, well, we're getting a lot of context. Now they look happy. Schwartz shows up to Katie's hibachi dinner. He says he doesn't want weird tension. She says, we are past that to the point of no return. Katie says their friendship is over, and Katie calls Schwartz a drunk loser. Schwartz says after the kiss, he finally feels divorced, and maybe this is why you don't try and be friends with your ex after breaking up. I mean, look, I understand the desire to be friends. They wanted their relationship to be different than all the others, but human dynamics, as much as we all want to be different, a lot of us pretty much all have the same genetic code, right? There's a lot of jealousy that happens out there, and Schwartz might have just needed a little smooch to get over it. Am I being cold? You guys might slam me for this, but obviously it's disrespectful, but sometimes the disrespect is what helps both parties move on. Does that make sense? I don't know. Raquel tries to apologize to Lala. Of course, it turns into a fight. They start by a good apology. She's like, I'm sorry. And she's like, you were being a drunk, whatever, broken down whore. And then Raquel's like, yeah, you're kind of right. And then, but whatever, it goes into the point where Raquel accuses Lala of having bad memory because Lala's like, we weren't making fun of you. And this is what I love about a TV show is that the editors are like, actually, it's like 2 months ago, them making fun of Raquel. So clearly there's some bullying. Lala's really funny. You just don't want to be on the wrong side of her humor, right? On the Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, the next, right after this episode, you had Andy Cohen in questions calling out Lala, being like, you called her a cheap, broken down hoe. Doesn't this go against isn't it hypocritical? Because don't you say women should be empowering women? And Lala goes, yeah, it's probably hypocritical, but I was mad. And it's like, yeah, that's the point. No one calls anyone anything when they're happy. You need to restrain yourself from reaching those reptilian reactions but either way, we're going to have so much more content talking about this. There's two things happening. There's the recaps of Vanderpump Rules, which is a delayed timeline, 6+ months, right? And then we've got what's happening in real life, including Tom Sandoval on Howie Mandel's podcast, the reaction to that. I've got more content coming out today regarding that. Plus, every afternoon, and this is what I love about the podcast, bachelorrushhour.com. I'm on the West Coast. I make all my content all morning long. I work from 8 a.m. to about 1 p.m., just sourcing content nonstop, but sometimes stories slip in that I can't get to in time. I include those in the afternoon podcast, Bachelor Rush Hour. That podcast, if you haven't heard about it yet, airs by 4 p.m. East Coast time. So if you're working on the East Coast or West Coast, by the end of the day, I've got the full day's worth of content for you guys in a quick, bite-sized, 30 minutes or less entertainment news podcast. So much more to talk about here when we talk Vanderpump Rules news, and VPR, your boy, is going to be covering it all. And again, if you want to put some bread in the tip jar, patreon.com/Dave Neal. Do me a favor. I don't mean to mansplain Vanderpump Rules to you guys. Let me know. What did I get right with these dynamics? What did I get wrong? And what would you like to hear my opinion on in the future? Expect daily content from me, and expect yourself to hit the subscribe button so we can all become friends. All right, folks, I'll be back with more content right after this.